Is a refugium necessary? While a refugium isn't necessary for a thriving reef tank, they have become quite popular and they are widely used by the reefing community. Their use of sand, rock, and macroalgae not only helps pull out excess nutrients and clean the water, but also provides a safe haven for beneficial microfauna like copepods and amphipods to proliferate, helping to keep a consistent supply of natural food available for your fish, corals, and other invertebrates. Those tiny crustaceans are also a great cleanup crew and will spend most of their time grazing on algae and other biofilms in your reef tank. Refugiums are quite easy to set up, and most modern sumps have a chamber dedicated to their use. Hang-on versions are also available for standard aquariums without sumps. Inside of that refugium space, add 1 to 2 inches of aragonite substrate or sand, some live rock or rock rubble, your macroalgae of choice like chaetomorpha, and a capable refugium light, and your refugium will naturally begin to do its job with minimal ongoing effort required. I have always viewed refugiums as a way to add onto and help complete the reef ecosystem, and because they do a great job at just that without any overly complicated technology, even beginners to reef keeping will have no trouble at all adding one onto their reef aquarium. Now, they do have some drawbacks. For example, they do need to be looked after and periodically trimmed or harvested to make sure that that macroalgae doesn't grow out of control and end up in places that it shouldn't be. Among all the beneficial organisms that it's going to provide shelter for, that also means if pests are introduced into the display tank, they may end up proliferating in the refugium as well. Refugiums can also appear messy looking since we don't often clean the inside of our sump panels from algae films like we do on our display tank, which isn't really a big deal unless you prefer your filtration area always looking clean and tidy. For those of us who'd rather not have sand and rock in our sumps, the modern refugium can be a simple ball of chaetomorpha in a sump without any sand or rock. This ball of macroalgae can still host some microfauna as well, and ultimately can make harvesting the algae easier to do, meaning you still get most of the benefits of a refugium with less mess. There are even macroalgae reactors and algae turf scrubbers that keep the algae in a confined space to keep your filtration area as clean as possible while still allowing you to harness the algae for nutrient control, but that will limit the amount of beneficial microfauna. But like I said at the beginning of the video, a refugium isn't necessary. There are still plenty of different ways to keep nutrients like phosphate and nitrate in check without a refugium. Fleece rollers, protein skimmers, biopellet reactors, GFO media, carbon dosing, even frequent water changes are all different options for helping to keep your aquarium's nutrients in check. Refugiums, however, are the one option that really add to the ecosystem by also helping to maintain the amphipod, copepod, and other microfauna populations at the same time. But before you go headlong into setting up your own refugium, be careful not to make the same mistakes that most reefers make that end up making what should be an easy natural filter into a pain in the butt to deal with. We go over all those mistakes so you can easily avoid them in this video right here.